So I think something unique that I bring to the table is this understanding how decline works in pets. And how it's come up in my work is that people will schedule a euthanasia. They know it's time. They want to make sure everyone's around, or it's a good time when they have time off work. And so they'll schedule 2 to 5 days out. But based on what has been happening, I can tell they're not going to make it. And I've learned that this is very predictable. It's a clear pattern based on what has happened so far, tells me what's going to happen in the future. A lot of times when I warn people you're not going to make it 2 to 5 more days, I'm afraid you're going to end up in a crisis or things are going to get distressing. People assure me, no, my pet's doing fine. No, she's still eating. No, she's this or that. And they're so confident, which I absolutely respect. And just let me know if something changes. Well, I would say about at least 50% of the time that I give someone that warning and they don't take it, I get urgent texts begging me, saying, you were so right. It took a turn. And that's when I began to realize there really is an acceleration. And I've come to find there's actually research in human medicine to show that disease progression does accelerate at the end. What this means is that your pet may be at a lower quality of life, but stable for months, maybe even years. And so when you start to see them do worse than maybe they have in the last few months, you think, we have a few more months. I think this is also why there's a lot of guilt and doubt in making the euthanasia decision, because people think they are ending their pet's life when they still have months ahead, and it's just not the case. And I will tell you this from seeing the people who don't listen, who end up in emergencies, who end up with their pets having maybe a less than peaceful passing on its own. I like to compare it to a woman in labor. I don't think anyone doubts the urgency of once we start to see the signs that a woman is entering labor. Maybe her water breaks, her contractions maybe are only 15 minutes apart, but we know they're not going to stay 15 minutes apart. We know that baby is coming. And I want people to understand that is also how we die. Things are progressing. Age, as we said, that's our bodies failing. And maybe for a long period of time, we're still in good quality of life and we're handling and we're adjusting. But that's a progression that's not stopping. We may be able to slow it. We may be able to offer comfort care. But that progression is happening, and it starts to happen faster as we get close to the end. So when you have that long period of suboptimal quality of life, it's not time, you're coping, the pet's coping, the pet seems to still be happy, eating, going for walks, all the things, but you're aware that there's a disease process that is continuing to progress. You need to pay attention to when there are just the next subtle signs. We started with subtle signs, there's gonna just be another subtle change. I think they're doing worse. At that point, after months, even weeks in a stable but suboptimal stage of life, we need to pay attention that those subtle changes are the cue that we've entered the next phase. Those are the beginning of the contractions that let us know, oh, maybe they didn't eat as much, or maybe they went off food for one day. This is also why I warn against don't track just bad days and see if you have more bad days than good days, because you'll miss this idea of progression. Those first bad days could be the sign, the warning that you're about to hit an emergency.